what's up, y'all? I was gonna do a whole skit and some more stuff, but my head has been killing me all day, and I want to get this video to you. So I have good news and bad news. Good news is obvious. We got a new series. I think it's gonna be fire. You know what I'm saying? And if you enjoy it or you don't enjoy it, please comment and let me know how you feel about it. All right. I'm trying to do some new things with the content editing wise. So I would really like some feedback. Bad news. Um, oh gosh, I'm not finishing with a Deku in Naruto because I wrote myself into a corner. To make a long story short, um, in the fight versus Madara and Kaguya, if your name isn't Might Guy, Sasuke, or Naruto, you're pretty pointless. And I didn't think it would be entertaining. If you really, really want one, I need y'all to really vocalize that down below, and I'll try again to write that last part. But um, I definitely need a break from it. I'm pretty burnt out from that series. To be honest, it's been going on for a year on and off. So, yeah. But I do hope you enjoy the new series, and I love you guys. Please forgive me. Peace.
We start our story off in My Hero Universe 2020. In this universe, there's a boy with a unique quirk. His name is Ichigo, and this is the story about his journey to become a hero. We start to follow his journey the day of his entrance exam for UA. He wakes up and grabs a wooden sword and starts to head out his front door. Before he leaves, his two little sisters wish him luck as his father attempts to kick him in the back, but misses.
What are you doing? Ah, it looks like your reflexes are in top condition. If you were able to dodge my attack, that is, then this exam will be a cakewalk.
Ichigo ignores his dad, simply walking out of the door as his little sisters shake their heads towards their father. Once he gets to the exam, he looks at his wooden sword and thinks to himself that he wishes he had his actual sword with him. But he understands that it wouldn't be a good look to go out in public with a real sword. After Present Mike explains the rules of the exam and the point systems, Ichigo heads out to compete in the exam.
Alright, let's see how many 3-point villains I can take out.
During the exam, Ichigo is able to smash to the villain bots with ease. He gains points after point as he runs through the arena, destroying bots and assisting his fellow examinees as he sees them having trouble. While he's running through the area, he notices one of the big arena trap bots that, well, are worth 0 points. Do look rather intimidating. He thinks to himself that if this was a true crisis, that he wouldn't be able to simply ignore a villain this dangerous.
Even if there is no point in beating you, I'll have to at least be strong enough to destroy the strongest test bot here if I have any hope of protecting those that are close to me.
As he says this, an aura swirls around him. Suddenly, his speed seems to have doubled as he swings his sword at the base of the bot. His attack is able to make the bot shake, and it also puts a hole in the base, but is unable to completely destroy it. As Ichigo looks at the giant bot, thinking of a way to knock it down to size. But while he's fighting this bot, he hears a giant smashing sound. He looks over and sees a small boy falling from the sky. Ichigo quickly moves over to where the boy is falling, but before he gets there, the boy is saved by a girl who seemed to make him float before he hit the ground. When he sees the boy and what he did to the giant arena bot, Ichigo is quite impressed. He starts to ask the boy what his name is, but before the boy can reply, the exam ends.
Game over.
Ichigo walks away, simply waving at the boy as he leaves. A week later, Ichigo gets his letter saying that he's been accepted into UA. Ichigo ended up ranked 1 in his group during the exam. His sisters congratulate him, and he tells them thanks, but thinks to himself that this is only one step in the right direction. He then thinks about the boy who destroyed the arena trap bot and wonders if he made it in as well. We then skip to fall, and as Ichigo's first day at UA. He walks into the room and he notices two of the classmates arguing.
Huh? You one of those elitists? I should blow you to bits. So they have students like you even here at UA. I'm actually surprised. What did you say to me, you extra? You should stay quiet before I blow you to bits too. Oh yeah? I'd like to see you try.
As the class looks onward at the two students, Deku enters the room.
Oh wait, you! You're the kid who destroyed one of those big bodies during the exam.
That was me. But it was just lucky. And my name is Izuku Midoriya. It's nice to meet you.
I'm Ichigo Kurosaki, and I don't think it was luck. It takes a lot to even attempt to fight one of those things, and as someone who tried and failed, I know how hard it is to take one down.
At this time, Eraserhead comes into the room and tells the class to sit down. Bakugo is frustrated that not only did Deku somehow make it in, but that this Ichigo fellow seemed to completely ignore him when Deku came into the room. Eraserhead then gives the class their gym uniforms and tells them to put it on ASAP. He then explains that they'll be taking a quirk assessment test and that the one with the lowest score will be expelled. The first person to take the test is Bakugo, who does the ball toss and gets an impressive 705.2 meters.
You might be a tad bit crazy, but I gotta give it to you. Your quirk is strong. Duh, it's strong. I'm gonna be the #1 hero here. So, an extra like you should learn to stay out of my way.
As the two students start to argue, Eraserhead stares at them and tells them to stop wasting time, where they can both quit trying to be heroes right now. The two of them are shocked by the intensity that Eraserhead gives off and focuses on the exam. The exams for the assessment test go as follows: 50-meter dash, grip test, standing long jump, repeated side steps, ball throw, distant run, seated toe touches, and sit-ups. During the 50-meter dash, Ichigo runs alongside with Bakugo. They stare at each other before they run, with Bakugo saying,
"So long, loser,"
as he uses his quirk to blast through the 50-meter dash with an impressive 4.13 seconds. Ichigo looks at Bakugo with a smile on his face, sitting on the other side. Ichigo then remembers some of the quirk training he did with his dad. The next thing you hear him say is, "Flash step." Ichigo then makes it through the 50-meter dash in 3.3 seconds. As he stands next to the surprised Bakugo, he tells him that he's not quick enough. We then skip forward in the exam, and this is the time where Deku does his ball throw, putting all of his strength into one finger, throwing the ball and beating Bakugo's throw by 0.01 meters. After seeing this, Bakugo gets upset and starts to run at Deku. Ichigo sees this and is able to stop Bakugo in his tracks before Eraserhead could even move, by appearing behind Bakugo and giving him a quick chop in the back of the neck, making Bakugo pass out on the ground.
Sorry about that, instructor. I just moved on my own. But this hothead is okay. I just knocked him out for a minute. He'll be up and moving soon.
Ichigo then looks at Deku with a big smile on his face.
It seemed like you were having a hard time, but I was confident you pulled something off.
Eraserhead is impressed by Deku and Ichigo. He notes that Ichigo's movements seem familiar, but he's unable to pinpoint why. After Ichigo uses Flash Step one more time in order to complete the distance run, he feels completely out of energy. But he does do well in all the other tests. He ends up ranking number 4 overall, right behind Bakugo. After this, Ichigo starts to walk home, but Deku runs up to him.
Ichigo, wait up! Oh, what's up, man? Oh yeah, how's your finger? Oh, it's fine. After I saw Recovery Girl, she fixed it right up.
As Deku and Ichigo talk, Ida and Ochako run up behind them as well. As they are walking together, Ida asks Ichigo if he has a speed enhancing quirk as well. Ichigo explains that it technically isn't, but that he can enhance his speed with it. He says that it's kind of hard to explain, but that he can manipulate what his dad has called spirit energy in different ways. Deku says that sounds cool, and Ichigo says that it's okay, but that he has a long way to go with it. The next day, All Might talks to the class and gives them the hero outfits that the students gave Yue specs for during the summer. Ichigo has on a lightweight black outfit and was given a giant sword, which is almost the exact replica of the sword he has at home. The only difference is that this sword is doled out in order to prevent him from seriously harming his classmates with it. After the students change into their costumes, they are put into random groups for the battle trial. Ichigo is teamed up with Ojoro and is going against Shoto and Mizo. During the battle, Shoto tells Mizo to go outside, and then he freezes the arena. As Shoto walks into the room with the nuke, Shoto sees Ojoro frozen to the ground, and before he notices, Ichigo swings his sword down from above. Shoto jumps back and shoots a pillar of ice at Ichigo, who then swings his sword, destroying all the ice as it comes at him. Ichigo thinks to himself that he wants to use Flash Step, but knows that with his level of control and how slick the ice is, he wouldn't be able to control it well.
That is one impressive attack you have, man. If I was a second slower, I would have been stuck to the ground too.
How did you notice my attack in the first place? Not that it would matter in the end.
Well, I always have to be ready for any attack in my house, so it was my reflexes, I guess.
As the fight continues, Ichigo, primarily on the defensive, just keeps trying to keep Shoto away from the knee until the time runs out. As Shoto starts to move in, Ichigo thinks to himself that he'll have to move into him or they'll lose the nuke anyway. He also notices that the ice only seems to come from Shoto's right side, so if he can get close to him on the left, then maybe he'll have a shot. As Shoto shoots off another layer of ice, Ichigo breaks it in such a manner that blocks off Shoto's vision of him. He then attempts to use Flash Step to move closer into Shoto, and by the time Shoto notices him, it's too late for him to use his ice power to stop him. Shoto then flares up his flames on the left side, but then suddenly stops using them. But lucky for Shoto, Ichigo is correct and he isn't able to control his Flash Step good enough and continues to slide on the ice into the wall until he's unconscious. Shoto then captures the nuke and their team wins. The students who are watching the fight are in awe. Kirishima notes that the first two rounds had some of the manliest fights that he's ever seen. After the match, Ichigo walks up to Shoto and asks him why he didn't use the flames on his left side, saying that if he would have used that from the start, then he wouldn't have stood a chance against him. Shoto simply says he has his reasons and walks away. After the battle trials are over, Kirishima, Ojiro, Mizo, and the other students all surround Ichigo, telling him how great of a fight it was. They talk about how none of them would have stood a chance against Shoto, but that Ichigo almost won. Ichigo simply says that Shoto was only using half his strength and still won, so he couldn't have been that impressive. Ichigo then gets up and he starts to head home. As he's leaving, he hears Bakugo yelling at Deku about how he'll beat him and Shoto. Bakugo then sees Ichigo and yells that he's going to come for him as well. He'll beat all of them. Ichigo says that won't happen, but that Bakugo is free to try as he cracks a smile and walks home. On his way home, Ichigo thinks to himself that with the classmate he has, he's sure to get stronger here.